Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Axemen, not X-Men, Axemen, and I was completely wrong about what this was all about yesterday. Honestly, there's no axes involved. There's no axe. I thought it was like axe throwing and like challenges and things like that. No, these guys. That's a chainsaw, by the way, not an axe. I'm picky. I'm just being nitpicky here. This is about a bunch of guys who, and I think at least one gal in the mix of this in upcoming episodes, but in this first episode, it features 3 different logging companies in the Pacific Northwest, from Oregon and Washington State and Canada, and focuses on the men that basically bring down a lot of timber we use to build our homes and other structures. Let's carve a chair. Let's make a gun cabinet, like that kind of stuff. So this is the kind of stuff that these guys do. Sometimes climbing up trees 100 feet in the air, cutting off the tops, making sure they don't land on anything valuable below or doesn't take them down with it. And a lot of the times these are family affairs. These are basically jobs that are passed down from one generation to the next, sometimes with parents who don't necessarily want their kids going into such a dangerous profession. There's one guy, Billy. What's his full name? He's part of the peel logging. I think he's part of peel logging, but no, he's his own thing. They cut down trees, not with big machinery or all this stuff like that. They do some more precise things, very often climbing up super high. And it's when his son decided, hey, I want to do the same thing as you do, Dad. He's like, well, the wife doesn't like me going out here and doing this myself, because he's broken his back like at least twice. What's going to mean if his own son is in that same kind of danger? But comes with the business. It comes with it. The one guy states, he's an older guy. He's like, once you get it in your blood, the logging, it sticks with you. You just don't get out of it most times, unless you're kind of forced out of it, which is a theme that runs through this first episode. They do talk about how it's not just, hey, we have a job to cut down trees. It's a matter of having the job to cut down trees, having the work, having the opportunity, finding the right places that they are allowed to cut and they're contracted to cut, and using the machinery. I mean, they're fighting not just against nature and bad weather in the dead of winter. I honestly, oh yeah, it was just snowed 2 feet last night. Let's keep working. And after we clear off the things and melt the ice with fire that's keeping the machines from moving. Yeah, it's cold. I do not envy these men whatsoever. I don't think I could do this job. So more power to them. We need people doing some of this stuff. And it's not just like, oh, they're deforestation, they're cutting down trees. Well, no, not exactly the same thing. One of the guys makes it very clear. I think one of the Rygard men, Jason, I believe, he speaks about how it's when he's inspecting certain areas that are meant to be cut down, or there's an opportunity to be cut down, he goes in there and inspects it and sees that there's some really sloppy work that's been done in the past, where it's not just about cutting things down, it's about replanting the same types of trees in those same areas after the logging has been done, so that there's no invasive species that overtakes that. It's a whole lot more complicated than you thought. Yeah, there's a lot of camouflage hats and suspenders and guys with beards. Don't stereotype them too much to think that, these are just manly men that are like to drive big machinery and use chainsaws a lot. They do that, but they're actually a much more sensitive group than you thought, and it's not an insult, because what they show right from the very beginning is that this is not an easy job, and that they're not just It's not just about cutting down trees. There are people that have to work back in the office to do the job that keeps the work flowing. Somebody who's good with numbers and spreadsheets and getting everything done. That was one of the gentlemen that is memorialized. And he did not die in a logging accident. He died in a car accident. And his brother, his father, each spend some time speaking about how important he was to making this company run. When the dad kind of passed the control of the company down to his son, this guy, they lost him, and that puts a little bit of stress on the other brother, Jason, who really wasn't gonna be. He wanted to be out there with the trees. He's not going to be the one who wants to do all the numbers game kind of stuff. He wants to do the other work. So they show the struggle not just with fighting against nature, making sure the machinery works right, and gravity. It's not just that. It's also numbers. It's also making sure that you have a company to pass down to the next generation that keeps this work going, that keeps this necessary process going. Yeah, if there were no humans around, nature would just take its course and just do its thing. But humans exist, and we sometimes have to destroy in order to rebuild and keep things flowing, so that it's more complicated than even I understand. So this is, again, they could have called it Chainsaw Men, but there's already an anime called Chainsaw Man, with a man who has a face and hands made of chainsaws. Look it up. But yeah, this is, by the way, from 2019. Yeah, I think Chainsaw Man already existed at that point. So yeah, I think that was already taken. You can't call it Chainsaw Men. It would just get confusing. You don't want to be confused with an anime about a chainsaw-faced guy. I'm just saying. But yeah, more power to him. This is hard work. I can't, honestly, I'm like, why didn't you do it when it's not like 80 feet of snow? You don't get to stop. You go whether it's snowing or not, in many cases, in order to get the job done in good time and get trees that you just knocked down that are 100 feet tall, get them then dragged up a hill to the road where they can load them up on trucks and take them out of there. If you're into like big machinery type of stuff, or you got kids who are just into big machinery type of stuff, like to see tractors and just giant machines with saws on them, just cutting down trees. This is kind of cool. It'd be the kind of thing for you. It's not my thing at all, but yeah, it's interesting. It's one season. Each of the episodes are about 43 minutes each. But yeah, I think this came from the History Channel or something, which is, again, weird. Normally everything is National Geographic, but maybe it. Let's see. Oh, by the way, maybe it was on History Channel, but then it got moved over to something else because this is season 10. There's at least 10 seasons about a show of guys cutting down trees. Holy cow. And I realize there's only 10 episodes in a season, but if this is the last season and they're all 10 episodes, that's 100 episodes of guys cutting down trees. It's got to be much more interesting to a lot of people for them to get 10 episodes in. And it doesn't stick with just these three guys. I think they gave a little sneak preview at the end of the first episode, say, coming this season, and it shows some other logging companies. So I have a feeling that, yeah, there's lots more adventure and drama to come. I'm not a big fan of reality shows. This is one of those things where, yeah, they can also, with the music and the editing, make it seem a little bit more dramatic than it usually or probably is. But you can't deny some of these shots with them just cutting down trees. They literally set a camera down on the ground just so they could cut down a tree where they knew they were going to drop the tree so the tree can come down right on top of the camera. It was protected, I'm sure, but still, those are some pretty dramatic shots. Like I said, if you're into the big machinery things and just the manly cutting down trees kind of thing, this is all for you. Go for it. But yeah, so let's pick tomorrow's episode. See if there's anything about trees. Maybe it's X-Men. Oh, it might be X-Men 269. That's toward the end of the list. It could be X-Men 269. Can you imagine if we went from X-Men to X-Men? No, we did not, but we got awful close. We're going to watch, I've seen this already, but I've been waiting for this to get selected for a while so I could revisit it for the first time in a long time. And sometimes I forget there's a ride at Disneyland for this character. It's hidden way on the back. And it almost got taken away. But yeah, we'll talk about this tomorrow. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Yeah. It's about time. There's so many other classic. I mean, we're really coming down to the wire on a lot of these episodes. There's not a ton of movies left. We have more documentaries, obviously, and reality shows than anything else. Movies are a close, well, not a close second, but they are second. And we've gone through so many. In over 1,800 episodes, we've gone through so many classic and new movies on this series. And I can't believe it's been more than 1,800 episodes and we've never gotten Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Who Framed Roger Rabbit is what we're watching next on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that. Bye.